This is a 4-sound or 4-trap set of percussions, untuned percussions that came out of a Marr and Colton theater organ. And I recently inquired it from a person who was parting out possibly the original instrument. This thing is very interesting because it presents several mysteries of what was done to it since it was originally taken out of the theater. You know, like I say, it had 4 sounds, and 3 of them are very obvious. We have the tambourine, we have the castanets, we have a very interesting 2-tone block, 2 different tones. But there was a 4th sound on it, and what could that sound have been? That's mystery number 1. Now, when I acquired it, attached to it was this homemade bird whistle, and this manifold was screwed onto the bottom of this chest like so, and this was attached to the side of the device and bent over with this piece of metal soldered on here. This probably functioned, but it's a far cry from what an actual Acme bird whistle would be. What could this have been? Well, if we have a tambourine, castanets, and wood block, there's only 2 logical choices, and one of the things we know for certainty is it wasn't a device that was simply meant to be blown like a whistle, because this is the valve that operates the air in this hole. This is a 2-way valve. When it's operating, it's closed off to the outside air pressure, and a pneumatic located somewhere is inflated or striking. When it drops open, this allows the pneumatic to exhaust quite quickly. So bottom line is, this was not meant to blow a whistle. This was meant to go to a striker pneumatic. I'm going to vote, it possibly was a triangle, but I'm going to vote for a tap cymbal, which I think is musically more useful. And more than likely, there was probably a wood block originally that screwed onto here, and it ducted this air out to a tube here, and this was tubed over to probably the tap cymbal, which was mounted on a separate piece of structure, somewhat of a forward distance from this trap set. Now, this is what an unskilled person had done. There was another person who worked on this that had a certain amount of skills. He installed 1, 2, 3 extra magnets in this chest, which originally were not there. Now, what that means is this pneumatic, and this pneumatic were installations by someone who knew what they were doing when they put this in. This pneumatic here is some kind of a switch device that changes how the 2-tone wood block works. This pneumatic and this pneumatic are simply allow air to come out of the chest when these valves open. Now, these would be channeled over to actual whistles, like an Acme bird whistle and an Acme siren. Sound effects, not untuned percussions, but sound effects. So more than likely, that was this person's intent. And what I am going to do is I'm going to put the magnets back in these holes. This switch here I'm probably not going to use. Whatever can be done with this 2-tone wood block can be done electrically outside of here, but just for the fact that these holes were drilled in, I'm going to put valves back, chest valves back in there. This I'm going to use as what this person originally intended. I'm going to tube out to some kind of structure that I'll build, which will hold an Acme bird whistle and an Acme siren. The unskilled person, the person who didn't know what he was doing, filled up these holes with silicone and put these rubber cloth patches on the inside here where the bottoms of the magnets would come out, or the magnet would actually extend into the chest. He also did something very interesting with the cover. This hole, which was not original, looks to me almost like somebody took a keyhole saw or even a jackknife and kind of whittled this hole into here. This is the original hole where the wind would have went into this chest. But this hole was put in here at one point, at one time or another. Also interesting is how off-center the hole is. You notice how close to the edge of this cover it is. It puts it right into where the gasket is, and of course that's quite wrong. It defeated the purpose of this cover. This would have been the logical only hole to supply wind to this device. Here would be. The other thing is the unskilled person did something else very interesting. He installed this cover onto this chest reversed, meaning there's a number 8 stamped here on the edge of the cover, and under here is a matching number 8, which would show exactly how the builder intended this cover to go back on the chest. The unskilled person rotated it for some reason, and you could see that by the width of the gasket material, he had it screwed on this way. Now, in the act of screwing it on, of course, these screw holes didn't match what was in the wood. So when he screwed it on, apparently the screws were at an angle enough that it put a lot of stress on this cover, and this crack here occurred. Now, what the unskilled person did was he used these rubber cloth patches, and he patched over this hole with this rubber cloth patch. And this neoprene gasket which you put on, which actually would work okay, these gaskets actually went into the neoprene gasket. When I redo this, of course, this will all be put back right. I'll glue this crack, I'll spread this a little bit, put glue down in the crack, clamp it, so this cover will again become sound, and of course it'll be screwed on correctly. What I'm going to do with this hole, I'm not certain, but I'll probably put a wood patch on this side to seal up this hole. But anyways, that's it. This is my 4-sound tuned percussion, which will soon have 2 effects in it, the bird whistle and the Acme siren. When I actually get this device built, I'll do another video of it.